This is the podcast for 10xing your income and replacing your W-2 with wholesaling real estate, a big strategy that's very popular for finding rundown homes and making a finder's fee by passing them off to an investor. My name's David Lecko, and I created a process that's helped people close 10,000 deals in all 50 states. And you might be wondering, can I actually replace my W-2? Well, I've got a story from an NFL player who played for the San Diego Chargers and realized his health was at risk. And he decided to replace that income after going into the corporate world and realizing, man, he really misses that NFL salary. And so he's done it with wholesaling real estate. Dean Rogers is here to tell us exactly how he did it. You guys are going to love this episode. Dean Rogers, thank you so much for joining us and telling us how you made $6,000 on your very first wholesaling deal. So break it down for us.
Well, dude, so my whole story is I started my career in the NFL, right? And overnight was living my childhood dream. Everything about it was amazing. You know, we can get more into that later. But as I got into the corporate world, when I stopped playing football, I thought that, you know, all right, I'll just work hard and it'll get me back to, you know, a good living and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, after my first year, I realized after going from a 7-figure contract to a $65,000 salary that I needed to do something else, right? I needed to do something else to get back to that dream lifestyle, that dream life I saw was possible. So I typed into Google how to get started in real estate. I found a free podcast. It was the Flip to Freedom podcast from Sean Terry. I took immediate action, like relentless action. And I ended up getting my first deal under contract on my third month. And I was super excited, ready to go, tried to sell it, couldn't get the property sold. Now, the cool part about the story was I took what Sean Terry was saying in his podcast so much to heart that I was actually marketing 4 deals in his market in Phoenix, Arizona, not where I lived, and got a deal under contract there. I actually was living in San Diego with the Chargers, and then I moved to San Francisco to start working in the corporate world. And so I got that deal under contract in Phoenix, Arizona. Couldn't sell it. I got clever, and I went to Sean Terry's website and filled out the property information like I was a seller. So his team calls me, and I tell them, hey, you know, I have the property under contract. Could you guys help me? No problem. I'll put you in contact with Sean. So Sean calls me while he's driving and he's like, hey, I heard you got a property. Sure, no problem. We'll get it sold. Sure enough, 48 hours, he gets it sold. Escrow closes. We make $12,000 together, split it 50-50, and I make $6,000.
Amazing. That's so cool. You got to do a deal with your mentor.
Dude, it was
who you never talked to before now.
Yes. Yeah. So epic. And I was just like on cloud 9, dude. I just remember being in the office and like, just giving out a good old fashioned woo, like football, like woo, like I was just fired up, dude.
Right. I'm guessing that what you learned practicing as an elite athlete came into play with wholesaling because you actually had to put in 3 months of quote unquote training or taking action. And you were okay that you weren't getting the result yet, right? Like you can't win the Super Bowl on the first practice. You know, you've got a lot of work to do leading up to that point. So I feel like that's a parallel I'm sensing already. Is that's why you were successful.
No doubt. The best thing that I took away from, you know, making it to the NFL and everything that led up to there was knowing that it's not because I was God's gift to the earth and I wasn't the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, the most athletic. It was because I just kept putting in the work over and over again. So those first 3 months of just giving it everything I got, not for 1 second did I get discouraged because I was so enthusiastically optimistic that I knew I could get the results. If, you know, a pest control guy that Sean was interviewing on his podcast, one of his students, could make hundreds of thousands of dollars and before was only making $30,000 a year, I knew, you know, if the average person can do it, I can do it too. And the reality is anyone can do this business if they're willing to put in the work.
So the deal that you got for $6,000 that you couldn't sell, where could you walk me through exactly what you looked for and how you actually found the deal in the first place?
Yeah, so the story on that was Sean Terry was talking about the different marketing strategies that he was doing and what was working. And at the time, he was talking about this one little known strategy where he was making offers on houses that were foreclosure FHA houses. And there was a special website for it. It was called HUDHomestore.com. And you could literally Google it right now and still see it. It exists. And you would go to this website, and if the house was listed within the first 30 days, only owner occupants or nonprofits could make offers and buy the house. After the 30-day mark, you could make an offer as an investor. So I followed the steps that Sean talked about in his podcast, and I had to find a real estate agent that was local and that could make the offers for me. So I did that quick work there and kind of followed exactly what he said in the podcast. I'm looking for someone young, hungry, willing to make offers for me. And that's exactly who I found. And so I would look every single day at this website and would run my numbers and figure out what I could offer, and would just be consistently putting in offer after offer after offer.
How many offers before you got that first one? Do you remember?
Boy, I don't know the amount, but no doubt it had to have been kind of the average of what you would expect. It had to have been 30 plus offers,
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Were you doing anything else at the time to look for deals, or just using the HUD home store?
I was doing some other things. I had been, 3 months, I was pretty much brand spanking new. So I guess now that I hear myself out loud, at that point, no, there was really nothing else. I was still kind of in the learning mode, educating while taking action. And that was the thing I felt I could take the most immediate action while I was, actively working my 9-to-5 job. Right.
Mm-hmm. So you quit playing in the NFL because your health you felt was at stake. And then you were like, right, okay, I need to earn more. So, because I'm used to this nice lifestyle that I had for my big contract, right? Do you feel that you've gained back that lifestyle? So for you, the financial health is back in order?
Yeah, no doubt about it. So the thing about, the NFL was, and I was just talking about it with one of my buddies I played college football with yesterday. We were talking for an hour, and he played in the NFL for a handful of years. And we were both just talking about how amazing it is, like your childhood dream, but there's the other side of it, right? There's the health aspect of it. And you really have to weigh that. For me, my position was tight end, right? I played on offense, played tight end. But because we had Antonio Gates, Norv Turner, that being the head coach for the Chargers, moved me from tight end to fullback. And I was playing great right out the gate. Norv Turner kept telling me over and over I was going to have a long career. Literally, you could pinch me. I was living a dream, right? And the only catch was, despite playing good and getting this fulfillment of I've made it, and living my dream, I just knew if I kept playing this position, I was going to kill myself. Like literally just the collisions at the fullback position. If for those that know about football and playing that position, you basically line up 10 yards away from someone who's just as big as you, or if not bigger, and run full speed at each other, just head-on-head collision, like battering rams, like you see on National Geographic. And for me, my neck down felt amazing. I felt like a indestructible, robot. And from the head up, it was just like, whoa, this is scary. And I had to actually start icing my head. And it was just like, okay, something's wrong here. I can't keep doing this. So
yeah, holy cow, that's scary.
Yeah. So it was just that one thing, like everything else was perfect, but the one thing that could kill me. And so I made the toughest decision of my life, still to this day, to walk away and hang up the cleats.
Gotcha. Well, man, I'm so glad you found real estate wholesaling. Are you primarily wholesaling now after you did that first deal?
Primarily. So a very short story on my journey is my first year I wholesaled, right? And then my second year I was wholesaling someone in my local market in Central California, in my hometown. And I was wholesaling this guy deal after deal. And he was like, hey, you're really good at finding deals. Do you want to flip houses together? And I was like, well, I don't really have money for that. All these limiting beliefs. He said, dude, just bring the deal. I'll take care of the rest. So we jumped into doing flips. My first 5 years, I've been doing it 10 years now. My first 5 years, I made multiple mistakes that set me back that could have been avoided, right? Rushing into deals, being naive on deals, flipping houses. And so I got destroyed on some flips. And once I kind of got out of that cycle of flipping houses, and I ended up flipping hundreds of houses, I realized that I always felt cash poor while flipping houses.
Oh yeah, man. I got one
Money in,
now,
money out.
like 3 months ago, and the money's just tied up, right?
Tied up.
It's tied up until you're done with the whole project.
Yeah. And you're thinking about it the whole time. It's stressful. One of the terms used is a cash conversion cycle, the amount of money you spend on marketing to then come back. When does it come back into your bank account? For a flip, I mean, that could be super fast. 4 months is super fast. 5-6 months is probably realistically average. And so I pivoted the business back in 2019 to wholesale first because I knew I needed to protect and strengthen my business by building its bank account. And as soon as we did that, David, the bank account just started growing and growing and growing steadily. And I've never been less stressed. I've never been more excited about the business. And we do, on average, 10 deals a month, wholesaling houses. And then we'll cherry pick the best ones to flip and keep as rentals. So we've now done over 600 deals, and the rental portfolio is almost $10 million. And, very excited.
Man, congratulations. And I'm curious, can you tell us, what's your favorite lead source now? Are you still doing HUD Home Store? Have you found, that's a lot of deal flow. You must be doing something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've elevated and kind of stepped up the game over the years. And after I did HUD Home Store and got a couple deals and reinvested back into marketing, direct mail was really my go-to source for a long time. Now, keep in mind, I was essentially virtual since day one. Okay. So was in San Diego with the Chargers. Then I moved to San Francisco to start working. And when I realized I needed to do something to make additional money, I was living in San Francisco. I was intimidated by that big San Francisco expensive market. And so I defaulted back to my hometown in Central California, where the houses I understood, the prices were at the medium price point in the nation. I could understand and wrap my head around these houses and the numbers. So I started direct mail there, did that for really the first 5-6 years only. And as I scaled from one deal a month to a couple deals a month, it was always by me increasing my marketing spend on direct mail. That was the secret, right? Just spend more, and more people called and more deals. So
if you guys want best practices for sending direct mail as a real estate investor, check out MC18, stands for Masterclass 18, on Apple Podcasts. It's a masterclass led by CEO of Ballpoint Marketing, who sends hundreds of thousands of mailers for wholesalers, including the ballpoint pen marketing you can send through DealMachine. They go over the best practices on not only what to say, but how to get your response rate even higher. Now, the Masterclass is a series that we offer for a free trial, premium content on the podcast, but it's frameworks that coaches normally charge thousands of dollars for that we bring you edited down so you can digest it as quickly as possible and take action as soon as possible. And you can try that out for free if you start a trial. And that's an introduction to our Masterclass program if you haven't heard about it before.
It's a really
what type of race for you sending that direct mail to you?
Yeah, really, for a long time, it was only the absentee owner list. And then I expanded, I grew the amount of people to include owner occupants as well. And it was really simple, David. It was just people who own the house for more than 20 years, who had 40 to 100% equity, and were in the locations I was interested in buying houses. That's it. No secret magic, secret list or anything. And that was the source of our deal flow for many years. And as I wanted to scale and do more deals, I then slowly added in PPC, right? I then added in some social media ads, which for me didn't work out too great. And really over the past several years have taken it to a whole nother level. I now have TV ads. I have radio ads. We've really bumped our marketing budget up for PPC. We have Driving for Dollars with DealMachine. And then we have really grown our business with relationships as well. That's been one of the most exciting areas.
Gotcha. Well, I'm so glad that's worked out for you. And interesting that the direct mail is your preferred method of reaching out. Did they answer? Do you have a marketing phone number? Or are they calling your cell phone? Or who are they calling? What happens once they give you a call back?
Yeah, well, when I was brand new, I had a Google Voice number set up, right? And it was going straight to my cell phone, right? Forwarding to my cell phone. And that was what I used for, gosh, I don't know, probably four years. And it worked. And as I've stepped my game up, right, and using tools the right way and tracking my KPIs automatically the right way, I have phone numbers set up for all the different campaigns, right? So I run that all through my CRM that I use with Resimply, and that basically you have a dedicated phone number for that campaign. They call it, it tracks everything, and you make it rings to your cell phone, right?
Gotcha. Okay. And they're motivated if they're calling you back, right? I mean, they called you, so it's kind of an easy call that just kind of exploring, what are the things that you want to know on that call?
Yeah. So with my seller script, I have 10 talking points I go through. So
okay,
I get their information, I set expectations, I go through motivation, condition, timing, if there's any roadblocks, who the decision makers are, what the price is, and then resetting expectations for the next steps. Okay. Now, really the 4 pillars, everybody needs to know the 4 pillars, right? If you took anything out of that, you need to know the motivation, the condition, their timing, and the price. If you know at least those 4 things, then you're going to have a good understanding of what they need and want to do and how you can help them. Those are the key things right there.
Yeah. Wow. And I was just thinking about something you said earlier too, was, a lot of people would want to trade places with you, having this many type of leads come in, having a $10 million rental portfolio. And there's a great quote. It's go as far as you can see, because then when you get there, then you'll see even further. And I'm curious, are you at that point where you can now see further than where you started?
Much, much further. Yeah. It's crazy. You'll hear often be grateful for where you're at right now because you once dreamed of living that life. There's no question. If I really reflect on where I'm at, I have an incredibly dream life. I have made it to my dream life. But what's so exciting and gets me up every morning just on fire is I feel right now like I'm barely getting started. I just feel like I'm barely scratching the surface, and the potential is infinitely greater than I can even really wrap my head around. That's what I'm excited about, because I know there's so much more to accomplish, and it's not just about accomplish. That's the other part that's so exciting, is it's less about the accomplishment. Actually, it's more about the impact. So that's where things have really transitioned for me. As I'm coaching students now as well, is how big of an impact can I make, and how many people can I help get to new levels and have new breakthroughs?
That's so inspiring. And I'm curious, how do you balance those big goals with also still reserving time like you did this morning to spend it with your kids, like you told me about?
You know what? It's impossible without a team. Realistically, what I do, what we accomplish as a team now today, for starters, I'm blessed to have an incredible business partner. Him and I are not even yin and yang. We're just like 2 peas in a pod. We're 2 peas in a pod where we both are optimistic. We're both motivated. We're both positive with our mindset and how we treat our team and our outlook on things, because we've made mistakes over the years. We've had things go wrong, right, by making some pretty obvious mistakes, actually.
So I know you coach students. What types of people do you end up finding are the perfect fit that would work with you for coaching?
Yeah, dude, the perfect fit is the person who's the go-getter, right? If you're looking to just come in and press an easy button, there's honestly no easy button. There is a shortcut. The shortcut is to follow the path of someone else who's had success. We both know that. We're a part of masterminds. We pay money to learn and be educated and be around those higher level people. There's no doubt about that, but still you have to put in the work. So the person who shows up who is maybe had some success in their business they're already doing on their own, or the company that they're working for, and they're willing and able to put in that work, that's the ideal person. And someone who's optimistic, right? Someone who's not looking for another excuse to why this isn't going to work or that's going to work. That's the right type of person, right? Because ultimately, if you're coachable, if you're willing to take the necessary actions, the step that I lay out in front of you, very, very straightforward, right? Then you will have success as long as you don't give up. I think where people find the struggle is they put in that work, they come up against a roadblock, or they get discouraged too easily or quickly that they're not getting the results they want, and then they give up. If you're just willing to relentlessly put in the effort and get the breakthrough, right? It's once you get the breakthrough, you can start to be the business owner and start to make some more high-level decisions. But out the gate, you just need to get results. That's really what it takes.
Amazing. Where can people find out about you on your social media and your coaching program that you offer?
Yeah, so if you guys go to deanrogers.com, it's really easy, deanrogers.com. You guys will see all my socials on there. At the top, you'll see a connect button, all my socials. There's also, you can apply for the coaching program on there as well. And then guys, I love to have a call to action at the end of any podcast I do. Please reach out to me. If you have any question at all, if you got any value from this at all, like one of the most fulfilling things is to connect with other people, because that's where the value is, right? Is connection with other people. That's where we all grow and win together. So if you guys want to connect with me, you guys can also DM me on Instagram at Dean Rogers Real Estate. And I answer my DMs because I love connecting and talking with people.
Thank you so much, Dean. And I know you have a lot to offer. Just wanted to extend an open invite to teach our weekly masterclass, which has 200 participants every week. And if you want to teach a certain topic, and that could also be a great source of people who might be looking for coaching as well.
I would love that.
Those are very popular, and we can talk after the recording as well.
Sounds great, dude. Let's do it.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.